All the time you hear people on YouTube saying you can't make thermite without a ball mill, but that's just not true, because I found a way.
Yo! I'm extremely excited for today's video because I am showing you YouTube's first copper thermite flashbang. Not only that, but I'll also be showing you how to make copper thermite. And the best part yet is this tutorial is so easy, I guarantee you at least 90% of you will already have everything you need at your home to make this. First thing you're gonna need to do is source some copper. Now I'm choosing copper thermite because you can actually make it at your home, unlike aluminum iron thermite, which is really hard to do. You see here I have this copper pipe, but this is not gonna do. We're gonna want something more like copper wire, and I'll show you how to get it. Here I found this old charger that I had laying around, and this is gonna work great because we're gonna take the copper out of this wire. Try and get as thin wire as you can, because in turn, you'll be able to produce more copper oxide. This can unfortunately be quite a challenging process, so I'm just gonna torch my wire. So we've acquired our copper wire, so now it's time to start the first of two processes that we can use to get copper oxide. The only thing we're gonna need to extract our copper is just some water. And then you're gonna need some salt as well. Go ahead and mix that salt up until it's nice and mixed up. Now our solution is conductive-ish. Now here I'm gonna use this power source, and you might be scared and like, dude, I don't have one of those. Don't worry, I got you. I already have this janky old video on how to do electrolysis with a 9-volt battery, so you can just watch that. But like I said earlier, I have a second method, so if you don't want to do electrolysis, you can skip this step entirely. Moment of truth, let's turn it on. As you can see, our solution is slowly turning blue, and this is exactly what we need to happen. Now there's some science going on and I don't understand it, but this is copper oxide, and I'm gonna show you how to extract it. But before I do that, let me go ahead and show you my alternative method if you don't want to do electrolysis. Furnace that we made a couple days ago. We're gonna be heating up a big spool of copper wire and letting the oxide fall off into this crucible. So now we're pretty much just gonna let that heat up and then cool down. Okay, so we currently have both systems running. I'll let you know which one performs better in the morning. Now our second ingredient for thermite is iron oxide. And this stuff can literally just be found in dirt. So let me show you how I get it. In a huge throwback to my first YouTube video ever, we're gonna be extracting iron from the dirt just using a magnet from your fridge. And just like that, we have a little bit of iron on the end of our magnet. Now that we have our iron, we just need to wait on our copper oxide. Well, this is not good. We've been doing it for a while and it's completely overflowed. That's crazy. As you can see over time, it's shrunken a lot and we have a lot of copper residue. So it turns out that the positive side is the one that degrades. As you can see over time, it's shrunken a lot and we have a lot of copper residue. Now I just need to boil off all the water. I just remembered that we added salt into it earlier, so I made this goofy looking contraption. But you should just separate it using a paper towel in a mason jar. Now I just realized that's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna try another way to do it. Well, you know, this should be faster. Yeah, one method's definitely working better than the other. This method worked, but it was really messy. This one seems to be doing very well, and it's much cleaner. Let's just clean all this up. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing because I have a really cool part 2 coming out in a couple of days and you're not going to want to miss it. Now because thermite has such a high melting point, you can't just use a normal lighter. I found that a torch can work, but it takes a long time. By far the best method is just buying some magnesium strips. This stuff is really cool. Watch what happens when I take a strip of this off and light it on fire. It makes an extremely bright white color and burns incredibly hot as well. This reminds me a lot of a similar trick that you can do with a lighter. On your lighter, go ahead and carefully take off the metal safety bracket. After that, you'll be left with this little piece of flint, I think. Go ahead and take out that spring as well. Stretch the spring and wrap up your piece of flint inside of it. Once you've done this, you can heat it up with a torch or just a normal Bic lighter. After it reaches a certain temperature, it'll self-ignite. If you chuck it at the ground in this state, it'll splatter everywhere and cool sparks. While this is cool, it's not very cost effective because each lighter costs around $1. Also, don't let the rest of your lighter go to waste. I'll show you something else you can do with it. Go ahead and put a source of flame on the ground. Now take your lighter and go ahead and chuck it as hard as you can at that flame. That's pretty cool, right? I got 100 feet of this stuff for $8, and it's super fun to play around with. Now because this stuff burns at such high temperatures, this is what we'll use to light our thermite on fire. Now I'm gonna show you a really cool trick that you can do with magnesium. Break up about 20-ish half-inch chunks. Place them all inside of a metal container. Go ahead and light the bottom of the metal container with a torch until you see some of them starting to glow. Once the first one ignites, start shaking around the cup until it propagates to the rest. After most of them are lit, toss the cup in the air. On second thought, this might not be that good of an idea.
Now we're just gonna make aluminum powder, and for some reason I haven't seen anyone else cover this method, so shout out to my boy YALL Science for giving me this idea.
Making it's kind of hard, but you're gonna need a torch and aluminum foil. And just go ahead and torch it until you see it crumple up. Let it cool off, then just crumple it in your hands. Make sure your aluminum foil is kind of a purple color. Go ahead and remove all the bigger chunks. Just keep on repeating this process until you have 4 times the amount of copper that you've produced. Now we're left with some really fine aluminum powder and some thicker stuff, so we're gonna put it in a blender to make it better. There's a little bit of moisture in my blender, so I'm going to heat it up. I kind of cooked it for too long and some of it started to melt. Now this is finished, let's go ahead and get our copper done too. It's time to boil all the water out of our copper. And it's okay to add more water to rinse it out because now there's no salt in it. Finally have nothing left, and I'm going to keep on heating it until it turns black because I'm pretty sure we need black copper oxide. So we've cooked all the moisture out, now it's just time to turn it into a powder. Have a plastic bag and roll it up until you have as fine of a powder as you can get. And I achieved way finer of a powder than I ever thought I could. Now let's go ahead and mix this with our aluminum. Let's go ahead and light some of it.
Yo! We actually got the thermite to work. Let's go. Molten aluminum.
The only reason why I'm not doing this all in one big video is because I have to wait quite a while for all of my stuff to arrive, so I'm going to do it in 2 sections. Also, there's a high chance the second section is going to get taken down, so I might as well just break it up. For a super quick recap, you're going to need to burn and blend aluminum, then you're going to need to do electrolysis on copper, mix the 2 ingredients with a magnesium strip, and you have thermite. Just out of curiosity, I'm wondering if any of you guys already knew this method to making thermite. Let me know in the comments.